some bacon today and the Costco bacon. Get my pan, get your oven going. All right, and I have some parchment paper and I have some foil. Okay, the first thing we're gonna do is grab some parchment paper, very loud, rumble it up, and we're gonna unravel it. Why do this? Because it'll stay in your pan a little bit easier. Let me show you. So we're gonna put it in the pan. Just a little bit easier to let it sit there. Normally you might find that it feels like it's blowing away, but it'll lay there. Then we're gonna put foil over it. Why foil? Because I think the foil is important because it helps radiate the heat. Some might think foil is not good for you. Yeah, well, there's a lot of things that aren't good for you. This is the one thing I don't really stress about. Now, I typically would prefer to make the foil long enough in order to fold over my pan and cinch it to the pan, but I did not do it this time. But that would be my preference. Let me show you. So this is fine. It's fine, but I would prefer that I was able to take enough to wrap it over like this to make it cinch. Now, it's a little bit, but I would have preferred a little bit more just to kind of put it down. Okay, so you're gonna get your bacon. When you have it cold, it's gonna be tough and you can like break it up a little bit and get it flexible. Flex it so that it's easier to remove from the packaging. This has been sitting out since I've been up since like 6 o'clock in the morning, but it's fine. I'm gonna cut it open. I'm gonna grab some scissors. I'm just gonna cut open. Now, you might want some gloves to make this a little bit easier. And what I mean easier, because sometimes I don't feel like touching it. And sometimes when I don't feel like touching it, I end up not wanting to cook. So do what you need to do in order to make yourself follow through. So I'm gonna put some gloves on. It's a nice sunny cloud break, I guess. Actually, it's not really that sunny. It's just for us, it's sunny. Now I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna lay it out. That comes off pretty smoothly. I like to, if your bacon has a thicker and thinner side, I try to like puzzle it together because it will give you extra space. This bacon, it's slightly thicker and thinner, but not much. But I'm still gonna do it anyways because I can tell that there is. Now, all this bacon is not gonna fit on my tray. So typically what I do is I will save, and I'm putting it, there's package in here. I'm putting it on the package, not in the sink, in case anyone was wondering. So could you do 2 pans? Sure. Am I? No. It's okay to kind of overlay the bacon a little bit because you know what? It's going to shrink. And while I don't like it to be completely touching overlaying, because when you try to, after it's cooked, it kind of like sticks together. You can always fix that. Now, how many of these slices do I have? I have 1, 2, 3, 4 slices left. There's a couple of things I like to do. I will cut it into pieces, saute it on the pan, and then save it for any quick, like if I want to mix an eggs with some bacon or top bacon on some soup or something. This will be a good amount of bacon for next week. So now, even though I could wash my hands with my gloves on, which I usually do, I'm not going to do that because I'm recording. All right, I'm going to put it in a cold oven. Yes, a cold oven. It's better to put it in a cold oven than it is to put it in a preheated oven. So take comfort in knowing I forgot to turn on the oven. Perfect. You didn't need to turn on the oven in the first place. So that works to your benefit. If you make a mistake and you turn on the oven ahead of time, well, that's okay too. I just find that the bacon won't curl and will lay flat when you start it in a cold oven. Let me show you. All right, let's open our oven, get our bacon, throw it in there. I like to put my bacon 375. You could put it up higher if you want, and then just let it do its thing. Now, for times where I'm concerned that I might go too slow, I'll kick it to maybe 385, 400. But because I can get distracted, I prefer to do it 375, and then depending on your preference on the texture of the bacon might have an impact on how much time you cook it for. I find average 20 minutes. I usually check it around 15 minutes, kind of separate the bacon, spread it out a little bit, and then keep cooking for another 5 minutes, check it. My family likes it not crispy, but I enjoy crispy. So I try to get that perfect balance. I'm not always successful in that, but that's my tip. If I'm gonna be busy or if I'm gonna be distracted with something else, I start it low and slow. All right, that's been about 20 minutes. Not done, but I'm gonna move it around a little bit. See how it kind of gets a little stuck there. Now, that took me about 20 minutes, and I'm gonna put it on another 5 minutes because it looks almost done to me. Okay, that took about 20 minutes for the bacon to get to that level. I think it needs about 5 minutes. So that's what I'm putting the timer on, about 5 more minutes, and then I'll check it again. Okay, so one of the things that, even though my timer is still going on, I can smell my bacon. So I want to check on my bacon, even though my timer hasn't gone off. Ooh, perfect. Ooh. So it was definitely good timing. I definitely could see that going off there. So I'm going to take a plate and I'm going to put some paper towels on there, and I'm just going to put my bacon and let that bacon grease, soak up here. And by earlier separating all the bacon, the pieces are just gonna not come off. The pieces aren't gonna come off. They're gonna come off individually instead of one big attached pile. All right, and there's my oven cooked bacon. And is my preferred way to cook bacon. It's easy, it's less messy, and tasty. This is my preferred way to cook bacon. It's less messy. You don't have to constantly be babysitting it on the stovetop. It's easy and it's good. Highly recommend oven cooked bacon. One thing I wanted to share with you is, again, going back to why I like to use parchment and foil. I find that parchment paper is really good at keeping my pan clean. However, I find that the parchment paper can kind of create a moisture barrier, and so that's why I like to use the foil on top of the parchment paper. Makes for easier cleanup too. A lot of times I just done foil, and for some reason it always gets soaked under my foil into my pan. I'm not sure why. So that's a cleaning tip. Cover your pan with foil and parchment. See how much, well, I don't know if you can see. It's so much easier cleanup. Another thing is you can just let that bacon grease sit there. Let it get congealed, and then when it's hardened a little bit and not so runny, just comes right off like ripping maybe a strip of glue on your hands, any of those 90s kids, and it'll just easily go in the trash. All right, I had to take a piece of bacon. It's so good. Easy to eat because it's bacon. Why wouldn't it be easy to eat? It was probably a little too crispy for my family's preference, but I probably could have taken it out a little bit earlier, but it's still good. It's definitely crunchy. Not burnt, thankfully, but it's definitely crunchy. Where I think some people like to have that bite and chew, so I probably could have taken it out after 2 minutes. Anyways, practice. Thank you, and I appreciate you, and I hope you have a good day.